morning, boys and girls. So the weather report for this weekend said it was going to rain today, Sunday the 27th of October. There's plenty of clouds up there, but today the weather app says no rain. Nothing in the radar. Sure looks like rain, like I said, if you take a look up there. But anyway, I got my rain jacket. I haven't put the rain jacket into my saddlebags yet. I don't think I'll get to wear it today, but at least I'll put it on the bike and take a short ride. So, go for a little ride here. As you know, I continue to search for the perfect motorcycle, but I think I have a little bit of a Wizard of Oz situation here. I think I'm going to find out at the end. There's no place like home. There's no place like the Honda CTX 1300 Deluxe. You know, I get on this bike and the power is just smooth and liquid, and I don't know how much comes through, but boy, the engine has a great thumping rumble to it back there. I mean, yeah, you hear all the valve noise up front, but the motor itself is just great. And you know, 80 horsepower. So I'm looking and I'm seeing these Kawasaki Concourse 14 sport touring bikes for sale, and you know, you can get them with low mileage for around $7,000. You know, 2012 stuff like that. And so I'm reading the specs. This has 80 horsepower. That Kawasaki 14 has 160 horsepower. And I'm thinking, you know, sometimes I think the ideal bike could be some little British, you know, like a Royal Enfield or some tiny little thing with, you know, 20, 30, 40 horsepower, just enough to get you down the road, you know. And then you got this thing with 160 horsepower, and then you got this right here in the middle with 80 horsepower. It's plenty fast. I can zip, you know, cut through traffic like a knife. I can corner. It's super. I just keep coming back to it. I can't beat this bike. I just can't beat it. I don't want 160 horsepower. That would hurt me. I'd get injured with a 160 horsepower motorcycle. You know, and if not, I'm not talking about crashing. I'm talking about my neck, my arms, my back. So, anyway, oh, I keep forgetting. I'm supposed to get on 31 here. I have such a habit of continuing on 501. And I've lived here long enough now that I ride around on habit, not navigating, but just on autopilot. Oh, so one of the things I've been thinking about seriously is an iron butt ride. And an iron butt, as I understand it, is 1,000 miles in 24 hours. Now, I have done that, but we didn't document it. I did it with a buddy, and we didn't document it, and I didn't, you know, submit it, so there was no credit for it. So it's not official. So I don't have the patch or any kind of official proof that I did it. But a buddy of mine and I rode from Monroe, Connecticut to somewhere in western Kentucky for the Little Sturgis rally out there, which they're not allowed to call Little Sturgis anymore. So they had some Kentucky, which was just the weirdest festival of fat, white, naked people I've ever seen in my life, but that's another story. But anyway, so he and I rode out, and it was brutal. It was exhausting. And part of it is, you know, I'm trying to keep on his schedule. He's trying to accommodate mine. He was much more used to that kind of riding. But I saw an interview with somebody talking about how to do it, And he had this surprising advice. He said, stay at the speed limit. Because what happens is your fuel mileage goes up, so your need to stop goes down, which is interesting. So if you figure, if you just get on a freeway, right, and you do 70 miles an hour, and you do that for like 15 hours, you've gone 1,050 miles, if my math is correct. 15 hours. And then, of course, the point is you do have to stop. You have to stop at least every 200 miles on this bike for gas, which would be like 3-hour stints. But that's still like that's 5 stops at 20 minutes each. This is, of course, with no sleep, but you're only, so that adds an hour. So now you've got a 16-hour 1,000 miles. I mean, you don't even have to lose sleep for that. We did it overnight, and it took us like 23 and a half hours, and we're sleeping on park benches and half crazed from sleep deprivation. I mean, it was crazy the way we did it. But if you could, I mean, the key would be to get on clear highway quickly and stay on clear highway. And then 16 hours, you got 8 extra hours to play with. So then the question is, where do I want to go 1,000 miles from here in 24 hours? And I don't know, you know, it's late October, weather's going to get cooler. So Florida comes to mind. I have never ridden a motorcycle to Florida. I don't think I've ridden much further south than where I live, to tell you the truth. Been to West Virginia, Kentucky, of course Virginia. I don't even know that I've ever gotten into Georgia. And now, one thing about Florida is, you know, flat and traffic and heat and not very interesting roads. So that's how I picture the place. I've always wanted to go to Key West, so that's a possibility. So, you know, I don't know, man. I do not know. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll head south, but then I'd have to make a couple days out of it. And then, do I do camping, or do I do hotels or motels? I think we just used up all our points at Delta and at Hilton. And now that they've eliminated my job, the filthy swine, I'm not going to get any more points anytime soon, unless I pay for them, which kind of defeats the purpose if you think about it. So, I don't know, but I mean, this bike definitely deserves a long-range trip. I think the tires are in good shape. Total miles on this puppy right now is 6,270, and 2,200 of those are mine. So 6,270. Certainly I wouldn't want to push these tires past 10,000 miles. Boy, those guys change their own tires. That's pretty freaking impressive. I was watching Ichi Boots. I don't know if you've seen her channel. It's this Dutch girl, drives all over the world on her Royal Enfield Himalayan. And Man, she's out in the field in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if she was in South America or in the middle of Azerbaijan or someplace. I think this was in East Asia. It took her 2 hours, but with tire irons and a little electric air pump. Damn, if the girl didn't get her tire off and put a new tube in and get the tire back on. It's pretty impressive. Rear tire too. Nothing's easy, right? So it can be done. I hate working on these things. I fuck it up. Excuse my language. I get frustrated. I start jamming and forcing things and swearing. I start dropping screws down into places where I can't find them. I absolutely go nuts when I try to work on these things, honestly. Absolutely freaking nuts. It's terrible. It's so much agita, and half the time, the thing's in worse shape than when I started. Plus all the time it takes. I'm just terrible at it. So then if I don't do it myself, I mean, motorcycle tires are expensive. You know, they're like over $200 each, easy. And then you got the labor. You got like an hour of labor for each one. The next thing you know, you're looking at $400 or $500 to change your tires on these bikes. And you do that every 10,000 miles. Unless you have 160 horsepower Kawasaki, in which case you probably do it every 300 miles. For God's sakes, 160 horsepower. It's ridiculous. Freaking ridiculous, buddy. So anyway, I think that's enough out of me for one day. Bye for now.